Welcome to the Creepy Kingdom. We are all about the creepy side of theme parks, films, haunts, and everything in between. We create original films, live streams, vlogs, podcasts, and more. Hit that subscribe button to make sure that you always keep it creepy. Now it is time to open up the gates. Creepy Kingdom proudly presents The Dark Theme Park Show.
Hey everyone! Welcome to the Dark Theme Park Show, Creepy Kingdom's podcast all about the creepy side of theme parks. I'm your host, Mr. James H. Carter II. Let me introduce our illustrious panel. Joining me, as always, on the Dark Theme Park Show, Sir Florida Man himself, Grant.
Hello, everybody.
And making her Dark Theme Park Show debut, Mrs. Sabina Graves.
Hey, everyone. Hi.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Alrighty, and this very special episode of the Dark Theme Park Show, we are talking about S.e.a. And what does S.e.a. mean?
Cookie.
Cookie? No, not S.e.a.
According to the Cookie Monster.
S.e.a. The Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Very excited to get into this. We're going to be taking a deep dive on all things S.e.a. But before we do, just want to say, of course, we are doing this podcast live. So anyone that's watching live, feel free to comment or leave questions, and we'll respond to them as they come in. But before we get into it, I do have to give an update about our last episode, which I think might have ruffled some feathers. And this was us expressing our concern for Snow White's Scary Adventures, taking the scary out of it. And we went really in depth about just how worried we were about the end of the ride being changed. And then literally the next morning after the show, Disney released an update, as though I'm pretty confident they were watching. Somebody from Disney was watching our show and said, "We got to put something out." Tanisha is in the chat. Hello to you.
Hey, Tanisha. Hi.
Hey, Denisha.
So if we bring up the photo, I have to bring up this photo that Disney Parks blog posted the day after our last event. It was a look into the dungeon of the ride. Tech guy, gonna bring up that photo. There it is.
Yay!
Yes.
So now the dungeon's intact. The spider webbing that was normal in front of it normally is gone, but I think that's probably so they can work. But we're really looking at is a still from the video from the Disney Parks blog where the apple has a new effect on it there.
Right.
For the podcast listeners that can't see this. So
My only concern is, will we still have her transforming from the evil queen into the hag? Because I love that effect.
I hope so. I hope so very deeply.
I'm wondering if we'll get like projection imaging where it's going to we're going to see her transform before our eyes.
Yeah, I feel like I think that's the big thing they're probably waiting on. I really doubt they're going to get rid of the transforming scene. But we did speculate pretty hard that the forest is probably gone, and that's where that scene where kissing of the corpse scene that's shown in the video preview that Disney put out is because we don't know where else it could possibly be. So the spooky, scary forest is probably gone.
Hey, Nightmarish Conjurings.
Oh, get a hi from Nightmarish Conjurings. Hello.
Hey.
And also, I was talking before earlier, but we did have a hello there from Melissa Camacho, Creepy Kingdom alumni. So I just had to point out, thanks listen, Disney, if you're watching, we love you. We just want Snow White's Scary Adventures to stay scary. I know they changed the name. They got rid of the creepy Q. Let's hope that transformation scene stays intact.
Yes.
All right.
Gosh, I'm gonna miss that. That was the last real one, to be honest.
What, Snow White's Scary Adventures? Yeah. Well, they still have Pinocchio's Harrowing Adventure.
I feel like because obviously we have a much bigger topic to cover this week, but having like pretty much everybody's seen the video from Shanghai's Pirates of the Jack Sparrow transformation. I think they're going to do that with the witch, like in person.
I haven't watched a video of Shanghai's Pirates.
Don't watch it then. I won't
still
get into
waiting.
it then. But I will say that they have the technology to do that kind of a thing.
Let's hope so. I mean, they've had enough time to work on it, so fingers crossed. And I guess the big elephant in the room here is Disney and announced that Disneyland is going to be opening in late April. So I don't know who's going to get to go and who's going to get to see it, but we're going to know sooner than later how scary the end of this ride is or isn't. So
maybe they'll be insidious with it and give it like a happy name, like Enchanted Wish, and it turns out that it's actually vile and it's scarier than what it was before.
Well, that would be ideal for us.
We can only hope.
Yeah, probably not true. All right, let's get to C. So much to cover here. So basically what we're going to do here, there was news of a show in development on Disney Plus. Sabina wrote a great article about the information that's out there and a little what she hopes from the show, which we're going to get to a little bit later. But I thought now was a perfect time for us, Creepy Kingdom, and this show, the Dark Theme Park show, to actually get into it. It's something that's been a daunting task that we've been putting off for a long time. But now it's time to get into it and find out everything that's going on and explain it. So just so everyone's aware, this is a group, a fictional group that ties together theme park attractions, Disney parks, and all over the world.
What do you mean fictional?
I'm sorry.
They're not real?
Okay, fictional. They're real. Yeah. They're real.
I'm sorry. And I think, just seeing it, getting it from right there, I really love the world building here, and I think this society fits well that its secret is in its title, because it's like it's there if you want to explore it. You don't have to know anything about it to enjoy the attractions they're affiliated with.
Right.
But if you want to explore and dig deeper for people like us and people listening and watching,
if you want to explore it any further,
there's endless
travel the entire world. Essentially, that's what this Easter egg hunt is. To like the casual and maybe not so casual like Disney fan, you have hidden Mickeys throughout the parks and stuff. And now I only see myself. Oh,
John made you full screen.
Special effects. I'm sorry. So the thing about the Society of Explorers and Adventurers is that to the casual fan, you can go around and look for hidden Mickeys throughout the park and stuff. And then there's like in-universe movie mythology Easter eggs you can find in Batuu, or you can find in Fantasyland, or like on Pirates of the Caribbean. But for example, with this specific fandom, you literally have to go all over the world, and there are even some parts of it that don't exactly exist anymore. I guess if that's like a good way to sort of open it up, I personally started going to Disney World later in life. So it was after Pleasure Island was changed into Disney Springs. It was called Pleasure Island before Disney Springs, right?
Well, it was. I think they got rid of Pleasure Island before the Disney Springs switch, right, Chris?
It was downtown Disney, but Disney Springs was the area meant for adults. It was kind of like the area off to the side.
And Pleasure Island.
Yeah, The Simpsons even spoofed it where they said, "Oh, we're going to call it Parents Island."
So yeah, and what Sabina's alluding to is that where a lot of this sea story comes from was the Adventures Club, which we're definitely going to discuss. But unfortunately, no one on this show has experienced the Adventures Club firsthand. For those that are aware of it, but the Adventures Club lives on through this society. As far as the worldwide Easter egg hunt, we'll say that we do have a worldwide Easter egg hunter. Grant has been to every Disney park around the world and has. What was the time frame? Was it like a year and a half or something?
We did it in a year and a half.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
No, not even. No, it was 14 months. We hit every park in the world in 14 months. The only ones that we haven't hit, ironically, were the water parks. We haven't been to the water parks yet. And then there's one that we're hoping to remedy later this year, which is Disney's Hilton Head Resort, but that's more like a hotel that's over in...
Is that North Carolina, South Carolina?
North Carolina, South Carolina. I've been trying to get reservations, and they're all filled. But
oh my gosh.
We're doing a camping trip later this year. So that's going to be like a stop to stay the night at the hotel. But they're full right now, so I'm checking every day.
Man, you're just itching to get out there after this pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
I refer to Grant as Uncle Traveling Grant, like Uncle Traveling Matt from Travel Rock, because he travels all around the world.
We gave the pandemic a year, basically, so my husband and I will get our year anniversary in the next few days, and we had actually booked a week for our wedding anniversary coming up in mid-March, so we're actually going to go to Orlando pretty soon.
Oh, you're going? Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I feel like we're 2 weeks out from the vaccine, so like
the vaccine's
just about.
Distribution's really been really odd in SoCal, but I feel like it's ramping up pretty every day. More people's becoming more available. But okay, well, let's get into the background to s.e.a. I'll start us off here. Let's talk about the history. The society was founded on August 12th, 1538. That was a while ago. In Italy at Porto Pasadizo, consisting of scientists, explorers, research, artists, travelers, and adventurers from around the globe. s.e.a. is dedicated to the continued exploration of the world's ocean and exotic lands. Four guiding concepts represent s.e.a.'s original fortress exploration's crest, looking at right now on the screen. That is adventure, romance, discovery, and innovation. Selected on the best ways represent the original character and mission statement, which simply read, "We, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, shall acquire knowledge through exploration." And their mission statement found at the Oceaneer Lab and Mystic Manor is the mission of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers to collect, conserve, and to curate valuable and cultural and artistic artifacts from around the world and make them available to the public in an artistically pleasing and sensitive manner. It is furthermore the mission of the organization to equip and mount social, cultural expeditions to discover, explore, chronicle, and protect the artistic achievements of human society, past, present, exalted, and forgotten. Well, that was a mouthful of a mission statement there.
The first thing that popped out on me was there's a restaurant at Disney Springs called Paradiso 37. And they were founded at a Paradiso, Porto Paradiso, 1538, which is one number off. I don't know if there's anything to do with that, or if it's just a happy coincidence.
Oh my God, the sea rabbit hole is endless.
It's endless. I'm actually going to for the first time the Skipper Canteen to start my s.e.a. Easter egg hunt. I am calling it research for my spec for the show, so I'm also working. And
It's
I mean, there's
packed
still
right
little
off.
Easter eggs through like Disney Springs that still exist right now. I think is it Paddlefish, I believe, that used to be one of the main restaurants as well. Or
No, you're thinking. Oh God, the Edison used to be the Adventurers
Edison used
Club.
to be the Adventures Club, yes, but there was
Yeah.
a like one of the restaurants was also, I think.
Well, we'll get there.
It's because it's just so all over the place, y'all. Like,
Yeah, no.
I love that James, you started it with like the credo because it's the foundation.
It's the foundation. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to do a little overview summary of the prominent members, and then we're going to go through every location that is sea specific and all around the world. I will start off by saying if the listeners or the viewers would like us to do an episode just about the deep history of the members, please let us know, because as preparing for this show, we realized that's like a whole separate show worth of material. The history is so rich and deep and endless that I couldn't possibly talk about all the characters and all the locations in one episode.
And if you'd like James to dress up as Harrison Hightower II, join the Patreon $1,000 a month club. And James
that's $1,000 level for sure. And you can see what he looks like right now, because we're going to talk about Harrison Hightower III.
What a segue!
Yes, you are the segue king. And with that, Grant. Sarah here, the host of the Weekly Creepy Sam. We need multiple shows. All right, Sarah, we can't let you down. She votes yes. we got to do another one on the characters. So Grant, I'm gonna pass the baton over to you. Let's talk about Harrison Hightower III.
All right, so Harrison Hightower III. What a handsome gentleman that is. Yeah, James, you would fill that outfit out really well.
Yeah, definitely.
Main character of Tokyo Disney Sea's Tower of Terror, which, by the way, I have been on.
Ooh.
A corrupt member of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, Hightower collected treasures and antiquities from around the world under shady circumstances. Now, I will say that those shady circumstances are seen in the queue for the ride, where you see paintings of him basically running around with artifacts that he's stolen from cultures. It's not like he's trading them. He's stealing them Indiana Jones style for his own private collection. It is not going in a museum. It is going to him.
He's the anti-Indiana Jones.
This is eventually be his downfall when he stole a certain item, which is the cursed idol by the name of Shariki Utundu, which is the main part of Tower of Terror over at Tokyo Disney Sea.
That idol, that's what makes things go right.
That's it. I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into that, but
we want to give away sort of like the plot line of the ride.
It's Tower of Terror, but it's instead of the Twilight Zone, and if you're planning on going to Tokyo Disney in the next little bit, just mute for 30 seconds. But basically, you enter the room.
We do have a spoiler alert.
A spoiler alert very quickly.
Do a spoiler alert.
Like instead of the Rod Serling room, you wind up seeing the statue, and it does magical things that I won't get into, but that is what causes the elevator to go insane. And that's all I'll say without getting too much into it. Also, because I only went on it once, and I remember it vaguely from 5 years ago.
I would definitely say the story is very Twilight Zone-esque anyways, because it is, basically he is celebrating his latest acquisition and inviting everyone over for like a New Year's Eve party, which I'm excited to go to, because anytime I go anywhere and it's New Year's Eve, like on a TV show or in like a land or something, that's my husband's birthday. So I'm always like, it's happy birthday, Jonathan, is whenever we go to anything that has that. But so it's like a New Year's Eve party, and he's like celebrating his acquisition, and basically someone calls him out and says, I think you stole this. And he shows no respect for the idol. And the idol strikes back and in the elevator.
We get caught in the crosshairs there, huh?
It's also that like Twilight Zone, I don't think translates well in Japan.
Right.
So you kind of, to do Tower of Terror, they need to do their own kind of thing. I don't think that was a popular show over there.
I don't think so either. All right. Well, we will bring up that location a little bit later. A little more background on that, but Grant kind of summed it up. Let's move on to the next prominent member we're going to highlight, Lord Henry Mystic. Speedy, you want to take the reins of describing Lord Henry Mystic?
Lord Henry Mystic and his monkey. Yes. So he is a member of the society. He is like, I would say, if y'all remember when we're back, how they had like those siblings that were like,
We're
one was
back.
a big guy. Yes, the dinosaur story. Yeah, I'm taking it way back for that. But
that's a deep cut there.
The deep cut, I don't know if people know what I'm talking about, where there's like two elderly gentlemen who are scholars, and one is like the very corrupt one, very similar to Henry. Sorry, to Harrison. I can't, these names, y'all, like they're like start with an H. Are they related? I don't know. Maybe. But no, Henry Mystic, he is a globetrotter, and he meets a monkey, and the monkey is adorable. And
what creepy kingdom person is logged into our account that left that comment? We don't know who that is. That said, "Who I like, we're back." Let us know who you are.
So.
Oh, Johnny D. Okay.
Oh, yay! Thank you. Yes, I don't know where I left off describing, but so the monkey's named Albert, and he's awesome, and they basically find a box that it makes everything around it sort of come to life in mystical ways.
I think Sir Florida Man has the box in his hand right now.
What? I would like to see this box. I would like to see it. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. I need this box.
I'll continue your story with the
Is that the Danny Elfman score?
Yes.
Yes. Woo. But yeah, so he builds Mystic Point, known as Mystic Manor. And it's a collection that, he seems to acquire his objects in a sustainable way. In a very sustainable way. Unlike Hightower, yeah. And you're able to go visit this collection at Hong Kong Disneyland at their haunted mansion. But it's not entirely haunted.
Okay. Well, again, we'll get in more Mystic Manor as well. We'll get more to definitely the locations. There's a lot to say about Mystic Manor, obviously. But,
oh yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next member we're going to highlight, Barnabas T. Bullion. Hey, Gretchen in the chat. Gotta say it like that. Barnabas T. Bullion. He's a character from Magic Kingdom's version of Big Thunder Mountain, introducing the attraction as part of the 2013 refurbishment. Inspired by Disney legend Imagineer Tony Baxter, who created Big Thunder Mountain, originally in Disneyland. So his backstory is Barnabas T. Bullion is the founder and president of the Big Thunder Mining Company. The longtime mining magnate comes from a powerful East Coast family. Considers gold to be his birthright by virtue and by oddly appropriate name. Oddly. I think most Disney fans will identify Barnabas T. Bullion as Tony Baxter, whether they know about S.e.a. or not. But
It's so crazy because like the nicest Imagineers lent their faces to some of these
It looks
nefarious
very
characters.
sinister. Tanisha says Barnabas T is your favorite. That's because Tony Vaxer is your favorite, Tanisha. I know. And Big Thunder Mountain's your favorite as well. I know all about your favorite stuff, Tanisha. You can't sleep that by me.
You either have to be into gold or like making broth with
that
bullion
name?
cubes.
Oh,
Bullion. Sorry, I'm checking myself out now.
you are. Yeah, that's a little too funny.
Okay.
Gretchen said, "Grandpa's at you." Do you think Barnabas T. Bullion's your grandfather? Gretchen, is that what you're saying? Okay. More Big Thunder's tie-in to see a little bit down the road. Let's move on to our next member, Camellia. Is that how you pronounce that name? Camellia Falco.
It was a Camellia, yeah.
Camellia Falco.
Identical. Long live T-Bax, says T. Burks. All right, Grant, you're up to bat here talking about Camellia.
Okay, so this is a character that I'm just learning about because I have not been on her version of the attraction yet. So
this is up. So when you went to Disney Tokyo Sea, or wasn't this version yet?
No, it came out in like 2018 or 2019, and we were supposed to do it last year. So now we're aiming for November of this year. God willing, everything is safe to travel over there. But
fingers crossed.
Camellia Falco is the host character for the soaring Fantastic Flight attraction at Tokyo Disney Sea's Mediterranean Harbor area. And that's an area that really kind of needs rides. That's more like where the gondolas are. There's not much. It's more like a shopping district. So it's a perfect fit for that area. Born in 1801, Camellia Falco was the daughter of Solino and Giuliano.
Juliana?
Yeah, Juliana. Let's say Juliana Falco, founders of the Museum of Fantastic Flight, which she inherited in 1850. And she would be the first woman inducted into the Society of Explorers and Adventurers in 1851. She would participate in SEA's tradition of displaying expedition paddles at the Tropical Hideaway, with hers coming from an 1831 trip down the Zambezi River. Avidly interested in advancing human flight, she was a hot air balloon traveler and would also develop the Dream Flyer, a glider inspired by the designs of Leonardo da Vinci. Dying in 1875, her spirit would linger in the halls of the Museum of Fantastic Flight, and during a special retrospective of her life held in 1901, her spirit would invite visitors to take a flight of fancy aboard the Dream Flyer. So yeah, I've heard about this on how.
So their soaring is about a ghost a tour guide flying around. That's awesome.
Tour guide, yes.
From what I've heard is that it's the same soaring ride, except like it's longer. That there's extra scenes added to put the narrative in. So they made a clone, but they gave it more of a plot than like, Putty from Seinfeld just telling you, nice job.
That was a great plot, but that's fine.
Yeah.
No, there's no plot to Soaring. It didn't make sense, even though we love the original version. It didn't make sense.
Oh, sorry, spoiler. She's flying overhead right now.
Oh, there she is now. Coming in.
Her ghost is because she died at the age of 75.
And one thing, just hearing these descriptions of the characters, there's so many material for stories for a series. It's just endless. There's so many cool stories.
There's so many different threads they can follow here for sure.
All right, cool. We're just focusing on the prominent members. Which I just realized there's so many members we're not even going to mention today.
There's so many.
Wild
so
stuff.
many.
Let's move on to our next member, Mary Oceaneer. Gotta say it like that. Mary Oceaneer.
Mary Oceaneer. Oh, she is the focal character of the Oceaneer Labs aboard the Disney cruise ship Disney Magic and the Misadventure Falls raft ride at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon. She was an avid sea captain and celebrated treasure hunter during the late 19th century. She also seemed to have knowledge of the lost nation of Atlantis. Whoa! Well, that means they could cross over with Atlantis on this show. Okay, we'll get there later. But yeah, so
Hey, Michael, thanks for tuning in.
definitely, yeah, that's something that is very excited. That possibility. She was, in the society along with some of the characters that we're talking about today. And she attended the meeting that occurred before Hightower died. Well, so not died, demise, because this is Disney. They don't say death.
Demise.
They say things like sunsetting.
There's
Like
always
sunsetting
my
our
way out.
passes.
Yeah.
So it says during the 20th century, Mary took her vessel to the MS Sally IV to the Floridian lagoon of Placid Palms. While searching for treasure, her vessel was hit by a hurricane that beached her in the lagoon. While it is unknown exactly what year this occurred in, early scripts for Typhoon Lagoon and the Adventurers Club suggest that this occurred in 1955 when Mary would have been in her 70s.
Wow. You gonna be doing that kind of stuff in your 70s, Sabina?
What?
I'm not gonna be.
For Atlantis, though, because didn't Atlantis take place in the 1800s?
Oh?
Yes, we could sing Captain and Tennille's. I don't.
Do it to me, baby. One more time. Okay, I don't know. Muskrat Love, I think, was one of them, right?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the catalog of Captain and Tennille. Very interesting thing. And as you said, she shows up a lot in various places around the sea world. Say it like that.
SeaWorld. Do not want to mislead people to go there.
No, you're not going to find any sea members at any SeaWorld park. Anywho, moving on to one of the probably more famous or well-known members of S.e.a, which is Dr. Albert Falls. And Dr. Albert Falls is an off-screen character from the Jungle Cruise. It's first visualized in the Skipper Canteen restaurant. Dr. Albert Falls was a scientist, an explorer known for his ability to navigate the remote waters, the rivers of the world, and his sense of humor. Among discoveries were a sunken Cambodian temple, known to some as Shirley Temple. On June 5th, 1888. And most notably, Strycher Falls and the backside of water on August 12th, 1891. There's so much more about him. We all know about him. I'm not going to keep going with it. There he is. Shirley Temple. All right.
Was his boat the Good Ship Lollipop?
Yes. Oh, wow. If anyone was destined to be a Jungle Cruise skipper out of our crew, it's you, Grant.
Oh. I'm not sure if I'm insulted or like honored. I don't know.
No, that's a badge of honor where I come from.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next word we're going to highlight there is the president, Jason Chandler. That's a normal name. Grant, I think
He's kind of cute, though. Why?
Yeah, he's rough and tough.
So Chandler was engaged to Rachel, right?
No, we're not talking about Friends. It's a Friends-free zone. I'm a Seinfeld person.
Jason Chandler is a character that was created for the unbuilt Disneyland concept Discovery Bay and early versions of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. In recent years, however, he has been incorporated into the Society of Explorers and Adventurers storyline in the parks and appeared as a major character in Disney Kingdom's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad comic books. He was a 19th century inventor who was a member of S.e.a. By 1851, he served as the club secretary under president of S.e.a. Vitali Robustelli. At some point following this, Chandler would rise to the position of president of the society while continuing to develop his own inventions. By the 1880s, he would begin selling this technology to the Big Thunder Mountain Mining Company for their operations in Big Thunder Mountain to assist his friend from sea, Mr. Barnabas T. Bullion.
I also want to mention while we have this image up, get back up, please. The photo on the right is a luggage tag that says "Ship to Jason Chandler." That's on a stagecoach that currently sits outside of the entrance of Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. So that's one of the few in-park references to Jason Chandler. It's in Disneyland.
Wow.
Ironically, near where Discovery Bay would have been, because it would have been where Galaxy's Edge is. So that's a little Easter egg there. All right, our last member we're going to mention. Like I said, there's many more members, and if Sarah said we got to do it. So when we revisit this topic, we're going to take a deep dive on as many members as possible. I won't say all the members and hold us to that. Because there's a lot, and not everyone has this original backstory, but these are the ones with the longest and richest. But I could not mention Maestro the Elfman. Of course,
Gee, I wonder who that is based off of.
That's definitely in the line for the ride, by the way.
Amazing.
I have photos of that.
And yeah, so that I don't know if we mentioned it or alluded to it or not. I don't know, but Danny Elfman, the real person, is the composer of the music for Mystic Manor, where his portrait lies. And as far as I know, this is the only Disney attraction that he has wrote music specifically for. There's some semantics over Haunted Mansion Holiday, but he did not specifically.
Are you choosing violence, James?
Not choosing. I'm just saying he didn't create a score for Haunted Mansion Holiday, and also that's riffs off of his original music. So it's not even literally his music. It's a I don't know. I don't even know who rewrote the music for Haunted Mansion Holiday. But that's
like
a different story.
Remix.
Yeah, it's a remix.
I mean, if his themes are being used and extrapolated upon.
A little bit, yeah.
I will say his theme for that ride is incredible. Like, it is one of the best songs ever composed for a Disney park. And so much that you actually hear it throughout the ride and even in the queue, but in different keys and even faintly, like in the pre-show. So, like, it's like when it's not chaotic, it's very peaceful sounding. When it's chaotic, it's very, like, more menacing sounding. Without talking too much about a ride that I know that James really hopes to go on eventually.
I was gonna say, that sounds similar.
I need that music box. I have my Haunted Mansion artifacts collection that's slowly growing, and that's one of the big gets for sure.
Yeah, it's similar to what Haunted Mansion, pretty much, as far as the song goes.
I was going to say, yeah, the Green Ghost does the same thing, as you were saying, is that it just has different keys, different intensities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that was the inspiration, since Mystic Manor was inspired by Haunted Mansion. But anywho, we're jumping the gun a little bit again. I know we just want to talk about Mystic Manor so much. but right now we're going to lay down all of the locations that s.e.a. has all over the world, whether it's attractions, areas in the park, restaurants. We're going to get into all of the locations, and we're going to go park by park, starting off with Tokyo Disney Sea. So the first one is Mediterranean Harbor. And this is what you were just talking about, Grant, right? With
Yes.
Not much going on there. Yep. So this is the original headquarters of the society, is located in the Fortress Explorations attraction, which serves as a place for inducting new members. Another sea facility at the harbor is Magellan's Restaurant.
No, Magellan's Restaurant. And I tried so hard.
Butchered that.
both days to get to eat in this place because it's supposed to look like the Adventurers Club on the inside, and it's basically what everybody does. They don't take ADRs, which is advanced dining reservations. There, you have to like run to it and then hope for a time for dinner later that day.
Ah, and there's also a secret room too, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So it's one of those things like, if you get to a brand new park that you've never been to, do you want to try to get in line for a ride, or do you say, well, let me try to get a dinner reservation for 6 p.m. tonight? Which way do you go? But when I go back there, I'm determined to get that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Well, I wanted to ask you about this Fortress Explorations attraction.
Yeah.
Did you experience that when you went there?
Kind of. You walk through it and there's like things to see. A lot of it's in Japanese, but there are English subtitles. Or not subtitles, but just like signs saying what it is. It's kind of, you go from like room to room and there are things to look at, but unfortunately we just didn't have enough time to fully explore it. And it surrounds the restaurant and it looked neat, but it was just, without turning this into another Disney Sea podcast, it was just, Disney Sea is so big and has so many different types of attractions that some things unfortunately slip by the wayside. And this was one of the unfortunate things that happened.
Unacceptable. Do everything all the time, nonstop. Go, go, go.
Dude, we were there from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. I don't know.
I'm sure you were.
2 days.
I know you guys. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Next time.
All right. Let's move on to Tower of Terror. We did discuss that. I think we pretty much covered that earlier. Was there anything that we left out when we were discussing the Harrison Hightower III backstory?
No, it's way prettier than the other Tower of Terrors.
Is it just a one drop down, or does it move through and then drop down?
Does it have the fifth dimension alternative?
No, it's more like the California version. Can you pull the photo back up? Is there a way to do that? Okay, thank you. It's an up and down thing, and it only goes up a few times, up and down like 3 or 4 times. It's a lot shorter of a ride, and you actually have to wear, when you're wearing your seatbelt, it's an over-the-shoulder one.
Oh, thank goodness. Weird,
but it's less intense than like Guardians of the Galaxy or the Tower of Terror in France. But it's the prettiest looking one. Like, this thing it looks like a hotel that's been there forever. But it's been nicely kept up. It's brick all along the side of it.
It looks taller. Do you think it is? Or is it just tall in the photos?
Yeah, it's very tall, but yet, I don't remember the thrills being that insane. I remember thinking that the ones over here were much more thrilling. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the height on it was like kind of like the Matterhorn, where you don't actually go up to the very top of it.
Right. Yeah.
And you're only going midway through it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Good to know.
As
someone who has to talk myself into getting on Guardians. It's good.
You don't like that falling faster than gravity feeling?
I do. That's the one thing. I don't like drop feelings, but I do like stuff like Mission Space and stuff.
My thing is claustrophobia, so I'm not a Mission Space fan. Or I won't go on it. I won't even know to be a fan.
Next time James comes out, we're doing it.
Yes, we have to.
All right. So,
and if you do that, I will consider getting on Tower of Terror.
But you've done Tower of Terror.
I've never done Tower of Terror. I've only done the queue. So I grew up as a. Oh, yeah, I know. I grew up as a pass holder, so I've only ever done the queue, and then I would chicken out and not do it, and then I have regrets of never having done the one here in California. And then when Guardians opened, Guardians is my husband and I's favorite Marvel thing, besides WandaVision now, I guess. And so we had to get on Guardians together, and I literally had 2 panic attacks and cried, and then got on the ride. And then was forced to get on the ride again because we waited on in the queue opening weekend, and then our friend got us alternative entrance passes, and then we got on it 20 minutes after. So I did it twice in a row, and I haven't done it since.
That's
but I do want to build I want to figure out a way for me to get out of my head about it and get on the one in Orlando because I really want to experience it.
Yeah, I think it's okay you didn't go on the California adventure one because the one in Orlando is far superior and is that's why I'm okay with Tower Terror not being in DCA because the one in Orlando is just the better experience in my opinion. And I do have to mention that at a private party Grant and I attended a few years ago, that at the Tower of Terror, where we had unlimited access to it, I didn't go on it at all, and Grant went on it nonstop during the entire party.
What?
Including times that I went by myself.
That's creepy, but awesome.
It's not that bad, and honestly, you're just gonna regret yourself later if you take the trek to Florida and then you're disappointed that you didn't do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Well, let's not talk about the worst that could possibly happen, but let's talk about the fact that when you go.
This is an odd pep talk.
When you see the 5-year-olds going in line all excited. And I think you're over 5 years old, if I had to guess.
Yes.
Ignorance is bliss. They don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah, I took my niece on Guardians of the Galaxy without telling her what it did.
Yeah, we did the same thing to our nephew, and it was literally it was the second ride he got on ever. He'd never been to a theme park. We got him on The Little Mermaid, was his first ride, and then he's a huge Marvel kid. So we were like, Guardians? And he was like, yeah, I love Rocket Raccoon. And that was a mistake because it was during the weeks where you had to have the Batuu reservation. So I had for months, I had gotten us those reservations and slot to go into Batuu. And when it came time for us to get on Smuggler's Run, just the fact of him being inside a dark ride queue gave him panic attacks because of us having put him through Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a little intense. Little Mermaid, all right. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's quite a shock to the system there.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. Well, let's move on from Tower Terror talk again. That's a topic that can take up a whole show. Let's go on to the next s.e.a. attraction. We had mentioned it briefly before, but let's discuss a little bit more, which is Soarin' Fantastic Flight. And I'll read about it here. It's this attraction is themed to the Museum of Fantastic Flight, the abode of the late s.e.a. member, Camellia. I keep saying I'm not confident in pronunciation of her name. Falco. Ghost still haunts it. Oh, I love that.
I love that detail. Yeah.
In the Q portrait show, Camellia as a C member included her initiation with Lord Henry Mystic being seen in the crowd, and then Club Secretary Jason Chandler having witnessed her initiation. Another Jason Chandler reference. And also, I want to give a shout out to Imagineer Linda Jean, who was the set decorator in charge of the props for this attraction. She gave us a shout out on her Instagram about this show and what we're doing tonight. So I want to thank her publicly for that. And thank you very much. So we're all looking forward to going on this attraction, a ghost version of Soarin'. We're in. I wish that I don't know, but I hope that there's a ghost element of the ride video, but you're saying that you think it's the same thing as regular Soarin'?
That's what I've heard. It's the same video, but there's the beginning and the ending are different, and the queue is way better, and that the vehicle looks different. I mean,
oh hey, Linda's here. Hey, thank you. Thanks for watching.
I mean, James, just get on the plane and come with me. It'll be fun. I'll
go. No, I'm looking. Because the one thing when I go on regular Soaring, I always say, you know what, this could use some ghosts. How much better would Soaring be with ghosts?
Well, I'm wondering if they've solved the issue that they have. I'm sure that you probably have it over where you are too. But if you get in one of the
around the world.
Yeah, it's soaring around the world, any of the soaring rides. But if you get on the far left seat, everything is bent like really bad. So the Eiffel Tower does like this weird, like turn like this around the top.
Yeah, I know that. Whenever the last time I rode soaring around the world, that's exactly how the Eiffel Tower looked.
You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about on how they all do that? Like the pyramids look drunk. Everything looks like it's been hammered. And I'm hoping that they fix the way that the screens work.
Well, there's only one way to find out. We're going to Tokyo Disney's group Creepy Kingdom trip.
Woo!
I don't know who's paying for it, but we're going to get there. All right. So now we're going to go to Hong Kong Disneyland and discuss the thing that we've all been chomping at the bit to discuss, what we've already been discussing already, but we're just going to keep it going here. Of course, it's Mystic Manor. And I love this photo. This is like a version of the photo there. I mean, a version of the Mystic Manor. Have you seen this before, Grant?
No, I love that, though. I absolutely need to save that image for myself. That is amazing.
All right, Grant. I'll let you do the honors of reading about Mystic Manor.
And while you keep that photo up, it's amazing that that whole giant ride that is Mystic Manor fits in that little tiny house like that.
Yeah, it's so weird. Same thing with all the haunted mansions.
Yeah. Set at Henry Mystic's outpost in Mystic Point in 1909, Lord Henry Mystic established a home and meeting place with the society in a remote rainforest in 1880 and opened parts of his home to the public as an art museum in 1896. Henry Mystic's pet monkey Albert ends up getting into trouble when he opens a recently acquired Balinese music box with the magical ability to bring inanimate objects to life. Also in this area are a bunch of sculptures that if you stand at them in the right angle, they have kind of like neat optical illusions. There's also a diner or like a restaurant there that has food from 3 different Asian countries, kind of like, food that he brought from his travels, and it is themed to Mystic Manor inside the diner. I don't know if you've ever heard about that.
That's incredible. Oh, I can't wait to go.
It's well worth going when it's considered safe to travel.
Well, we're going to go to all these places, of course, at some point.
Yes.
So Grant's dedication to s.e.a, Mystic Manor, Creepy Kingdom, and all that great stuff was permanently put on his body shortly after he experienced it. So we have to see your tattoo.
Okay.
Are you able to maneuver showing it?
Oh,
not that tattoo. No, not your Mr. T tattoo.
Oh, he's disappeared. He has disappeared. We are waiting in suspense for this tattoo.
Right,
I'm back.
He's back. Okay.
All right.
Are you able to maneuver this, or do we have to? I don't know if we're able to do this. Yeah, we got you. Yep. Live TV, folks. Can you hear us?
Ooh.
All right. Let's keep it going while Grant gets back intact here. We hear and see you, Grant. I'm not sure. Oh, he's gone.
And now we have lost him again. Oh, no. Yeah, no, I really love the element of artifacts for the s.e.a characters and mythology. Hey. And I really hope that we get a lot of that here in some way, kind of brought in more.
Here in Disneyland? Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back. I picked up my phone and I exited out, but yeah, I can show you this.
Okay.
Air Mufasa shirt right here.
Yes.
Right. Look at that. It's got Albert put on his body.
So cute. I love it.
Yeah. Which is funny because every time I also have a tattoo from Sinbad's Storybook Voyage, which is Chandu the tiger. And the problem that I have is people say, "Oh, is that Abu and Raja?"
Oh my gosh!
And I've had, when I go to Disney World, I've had like 2 people that said, "Oh my God, is that Albert?" Or "Nice Chandu tattoo." nobody realizes what it is.
Not deep in the game like us.
Yeah.
Before we move on from Mystic Manor, I will say that when the ride opened, I did watch a ride through video. Because
I also did. I could not wait.
I didn't
had
think
to
that I would
see it.
ever get to go to Hong Kong. That was like well out of my scope of things I thought I would ever do. I'm a lot more optimistic about it now, so I haven't watched it again. But just watching a video of it, and was that 2011? I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. With imagine whatever quality video that was in 2011, still blew me away. I can't wait to experience this firsthand. I mean, that is like literally, like that's why I want to go to Hong Kong Disneyland. Other than that,
do you hope to do a trip where you can hop to all of them in one trip, or are you spacing them out?
Well, that's what Grant did, which seems a little
2013, by the way, when it opened up.
No, thanks, 2013. Grant kind of suggests taking a trip to go to Tokyo Sea on its own, and then possibly doing the Shanghai and Hong Kong in another trip, because there's so much going on, or just Tokyo Disneyland. There's so much going on there that it might be a bit much to try to do it all in one trip.
Yeah, that was the problem, is that we kind of felt like, I mean, even just Tokyo, because Japan has so much stuff going on, even like a ton of theme parks, including Hello Kitty and other things. If you're just looking at theme parks, there's so much going on in Japan. But then if you're looking at other things like cultural stuff or restaurants, I mean, we were only in Japan for, I think, 7 days out of our honeymoon. And we kind of felt like, okay, well, we did 4 days at Tokyo Disney Sea, and 3 days of other stuff, and it just wasn't enough time. But for the purpose of saying we're going to hit all the Asian Disney parks, it worked out really well. But we still kind of felt like we only like scraped the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think that would be its own trip. But and also traveling to Japan, all the other attractions, like I said, and at this point, wanting to visit Universal Japan Park as well.
Yeah, Nintendo World.
Yeah, so you got to add that on your list of things to do in Japan. So I think that's its own trip. I mean, I would love to just spend all my time traveling to Disney theme parks around the world, but I don't know that.
Well, if everything goes well, Creepy Kingdom will be coming to you live from Super Nintendo World in Japan.
Wow, Grant's headed there. Yeah.
Assuming that they have a good Wi-Fi connection.
Hopefully.
Yes.
But the other thing about wanting to go to Hong Kong Disneyland is that besides Mystic Manor, that seems to be the park where they give us the closest thing to what us Creepy Kingdom people want during Halloween time from Disney. Which is intense scares, actual walkthrough. We're not going to really call them haunts, but a walkthrough attractions.
Although, didn't they stop doing the really intense, scary ones? Because I thought that they were doing like the freaky ones, but then like the one from the year before last, wasn't it just Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, that's what it was. However, it was still played for scares.
Ooh.
I remember reading that. Because when I went to it, it was a scary thing, but it's still Disney characters. It's only going to be so scary.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they haven't announced what they're doing this year, but I do think based on how everything is going regarding like vaccines and all that kind of stuff, I do think haunts will be back on, especially over there, because Hong Kong, while it's big, it's relatively small compared to everybody else. It's like the size of New York City. It's a lot easier to vaccinate that area, so you can do the in-your-face scares again.
So,
yeah.
But let's actually talk about the next S.e.a. thing that's at Hong Kong Disneyland and Halloween. They had some stuff going on in 2014 and 15. I don't know who's up to bat to read. I don't know. I'll give it to you, Sabina. You're good at reading.
Oh my god, I did not know about this. What? They incorporate Halloween events into the organization?
Yep.
Yes, I know what my spec script is going to be about. Yeah, so this is cool. Some of the Adventureland offerings during the Halloween events at the parks incorporate the mythology into their stories. In 2014, Horrors of the Amazon focused around an adventurer named Jonas Brisbane, who hoped to join their ranks. In 2015, the story of the Jungle Cruise overlay Curse of the Emerald Trinity was instigated by Professor Reed, a man kicked out of sea for his greedy actions and desire for forbidden artifacts. Whoa, my mind is blown. I love it. I'm going to go on a YouTube rabbit hole as soon as we are done and see if I can find any videos of these attractions because, this is my jam.
Yeah, that last guy sounds like he hangs out with Hightower, the third.
Oh, for sure.
That, I think, only ran for 1 year, though. Like, that was a Hong Kong Disneyland thing that I remember seeing the trailer for. And I went in 2016, and that wasn't running. I remember that it was like it is. I think it was one of those things that they tried to do once, kind of like a backlot tram type thing.
Yeah, I guess they kind of have that like Halloween Horror Nights thing where they try to bring new stuff in every year. I guess because that's what the locals. Well, I don't know. Is that a locals park? You think, Grant?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You said. Yeah,
I mean, it's a great place to go to. Like, Hong Kong is basically seen as the entryway to China for the average person who wants to go to China, because you do not need to have you need a passport, but you don't need a visa. If you're going to go into mainland China, you need to have a visa, which is a lot more work. So unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but like that pretty much only gives you a subset of people who are going to Hong Kong. And then the people who are going to Hong Kong, you only have so many people who want to go to Disneyland,
Right. Yeah, so not a lot of tourists. That's mostly local. So they have to keep bringing in new stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go to Walt Disney World, where there's a lot of sea activity here. And we're finally going to talk about the Adventurers Club that does not exist anymore. I mean, it was open from 1989 to 2008.
And this is where like the sort of idea for this kind of was born, right?
Yeah, well, the basic thing is that s.e.a. as it was created the fictional s.e.a. was created with Tower of Terror. So s.e.a. was not created with the Adventurers Club, but the Adventurers Club inspired what s.e.a. became what it's become. So they kind of have retconned the Adventurers Club to be part of the s.e.a. story and part of its history. It's so the best. Again, none of us experienced it. A lot of people don't know about it, but the best way to describe it here is that there's a deep nightclub that was in Pleasure Island that we talked about earlier. Styled as a private club for world travelers and explorers, set in 1937. The walls of the club were covered with artifacts and photographs of various explorations. The Adventurers Club featured animatronics, puppets, and a cast of adventurers who performed in shows, can't say that word, improv comedy while mingling with the club's patrons. Shows and conversations were laced with innuendo, and the patrons were welcomed as guests, given fictional names, recognized as fellow adventurers, or simply referred to as drunks. Once the club closed, the rest of Pleasure Island, the props for the club were spread around the various parks and resorts. Some of these props, resulted in the Adventurers Club being retconned as Meriwether Adam Pleasure's chapter of s.e.a. So a lot of the props from the Adventurers Club are all over the world, tied into the s.e.a. attractions and locations. And we have them listed here, but it's so much stuff. I think that I'm not even going to get into it. But
even at Alani. So there you go. They even made their way to Hawaii.
Yeah, and I think that's the only. There's just some of the props from Adventurers Club. I think that's the only sea connection at Alani that I found in my research.
I mean, Alani's basically just a really nice resort, so I'm surprised that they have anything.
Yeah. So Yeah, Adventurers Club, A Place of Legends. I think it's kind of a bummer that it doesn't exist anymore or anything like it. But I guess you're saying that this place in Tokyo, Disney Sea, that I can't pronounce, also is the closest you can get to going to the Adventurers Club.
Magellan's.
Magellan's, that's the word.
Think about the dragon from Eureka's castle.
That's not a good reference for me.
I mean, like, I guess they've been
Yeah.
scattered throughout everywhere, like Infinity Stones, just,
Yeah.
you know, for the avid fan to go and collect, to go and
track them down. Yeah.
track them down.
Again, such great fodder for television series.
James is going to be the new Henry Hightower, going to around the world and
stealing them.
pieces.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. There's a lot of stuff about Disney World. Yeah, so we mentioned it a little earlier there. It's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And we showed old Barnabas v. Bullion situation there. Grant, you want to talk about the sea tie-ins?
Yeah, sure. Big Thunder Mining Company owner Barnabas T. Bullion is identified as a member of the society in letters in the queue corresponding with Jason Chandler. Both he and a colleague at the Museum of the Weird, known as Madame Zarkov, who has been known to frequent Meriwether Adam Pleasure's Adventurers Club, advised against further mining activity at the mountain in light of the various supernatural happenings plaguing the site. I always forget that ride has a supernatural element to it.
Yeah. The backstory of it is like you forget that you're literally riding a ghost train. Like the train's haunted. They don't really play that up too much. You just have to know the backstory.
Yeah. Isn't like Big Thunder Mountain in France sort of loosely tied to Haunted Mansion as well? So it also has like some sort of spooky element.
Tied to Phantom Manor, right?
Yeah, Phantom Manor.
Yeah,
yes.
They actually look across the street from each other.
Yeah, they share the same storyline.
And does that storyline intersect with S.e.a, or is that completely separate?
Yeah, completely separate. I haven't seen any mention of.
No, Phantom Manor is like Wild West Haunted Mansion, so it works really nice with their version of Thunder Mountain.
Which for people who want to know more about Phantom Manor, we actually have an article coming up from someone that runs a Phantom Manor fan site to talk about some of the trivia behind it. So there's a little tease there for because again, a lot of US people don't know about too much about Phantom Manor. Again, I have not watched a ride-through video of that because I'm waiting for my day to experience it. Even though I heard it recently changed.
It recently you should probably watch the original ride-through. Because I think it seems very different. I've seen both, so the storyline changes dramatically.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I prefer the old storyline, although
that's a sentiment I've heard, but topic for another time. Yeah, I just wanted to know it. I thought it was really interesting that in 2013, Big Thunder Mountain officially became part of the S.e.a storyline, which is kind of interesting, but they not expected.
So the question is was Disney Sea named in honor of these explorers, or was it a happy coincidence?
Right.
Because while Disney Sea does have a ton of references and a lot of attractions based around these characters, it's also like they make sense, like Disneyland, Disney Sea, because it's on the ocean.
Right.
Kind of like the rumored Disney Sky for the third gate in Tokyo eventually, Lansing and Sky. But Sea is capitalized, much like the Society of Explorers and Adventurers.
That sounds like a question for some Imagineers.
James,
let us know if you're still here. It's really cool because I think it's something they probably definitely lean into, and it makes sense to do that. I love mythologies of that sort of caliber, and I'm excited to learn more.
All right, let's keep it going because there's so much stuff about Disney World.
Oh my gosh.
Next up, we have the Skipper Canteen, which I have not get experienced yet. I remember last time that I was at Walt Disney World, could not get in. So I stood outside of it, but I didn't have an ADR. But we tried. We're like, hey, can we get in there? And they're like, nah, dude. Get out of here with your walk-ups.
Go have a Dole Whip next door.
I'll be
Yeah,
going
pretty
for
much.
lunch. I'm excited. I'm gonna try to ask for the room. Fingers crossed.
Well, let's. Why don't you read the description for people who don't know about it?
Yes, so the Skipper Canteen is a Magic Kingdom restaurant. One of my friends who he and I are really big like Disney mythology fans, he recommended me to go. So it's basically like Jungle Cruise-esque, but very much in the realm of, you know, the society is like, you know, like they're eating and drinking whole sort of thing, I guess. And littered throughout the location itself, there are Club Fezzes that belong to Falls, Henry Mystic, Albert, Mary, Merryweather, and Pleasure, which are on display. I love that
You gotta
name.
say it. You gotta say it like
Merryweather, and Pleasure. Yes. And maps featuring legendary creatures hanging on the walls. There's a library, and I believe I'm probably mistaken, but I think you access the secret room through the library.
I believe that's the story.
And yeah, no, that I'm so excited to check this out and like investigate myself. And eat their delicious food. They have awesome dietary options there because I'm sure members of s.e.a. had different dietary restrictions.
Sure.
But
Seem
yeah.
like a fussy bunch when it comes to food. So Grant, I assume you've eaten here, correct?
Oh yeah, it's really delicious.
Have you got to go to the secret room?
No, I have not gotten to do the secret room, unfortunately. I wasn't aware. This is something I've learned this time.
Oh, you weren't aware of it. Oh, wow.
No, because next time I go, which will hopefully be, you know, in a few months, maybe we'll see it. We'll see how everything goes. I'm definitely going to get a reservation and see if I can get the secret room to check this out.
Okay, we gotta find. Yeah, I guess we got to ask for it. This is literally has to ask.
I will try asking, but I heard it's random. Like people just randomly get it.
Oh, is that the story? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Continuing on inside of Disney's Typhoon Lagoon, the Misadventure Falls attraction there ties back again to Mary Oceaneer. It's a splashing journey through its fabled Captain Mary Oceaneer's past. Legend has it that Captain Oceaneer, a treasure hunting heroine, along with her pet parrot Duncan, have traveled across the sea.
Pet parrot?
Collecting unique artifacts before she came stranded at Typhoon Lagoon many, many years ago by a rogue storm. So I've actually never been to Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach because I don't go to water parks, but I want to just because there seems to be so much detail in both these parks, and I'm glad that there's a sea connection here. It seems it's. I mean, what was the story behind Typhoon Lagoon again? I don't remember it. It's off the top of my head. I guess the whole park as a whole. Remember what it is?
Not really.
I know there's a story. I know there's a story about something.
I keep thinking I'll get to the water parks, but not this year. I think definitely when it's a lot more safer to do like water parks. I might a longer trip probably too.
But to complete your sea mission, you're gonna have to make it over there.
I went when I was 20 years ago, so I don't remember much about it. They took out the snorkeling. That's pretty much what I remember was you could snorkel with sharks and stuff, but that got taken out years ago.
Oh, sharks? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, moving on. This is a pretty small one, but worth mentioning. In the UK Pavilion, Grant, I'll pass this one over to you.
The Pavilion's Kid Cop Station, themed as the Library of the Royal Adventurers Society, features a Society of Explorers and Adventurers handbook amongst its titles, alongside production artwork from Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and books also found at Skipper Canteen.
That's a deep cut there. That's not even worth
It's really deep.
I couldn't even find a photo of it. Like, that's why the photo that came up was just the UK pavilion.
In fact, I have friends that have gone to Epcot recently. They said that like a lot of the UK pavilion is closed. So, Sabina, when you go, I don't even know if you'll be able to even see if this is even real.
Right? I don't know if I'll be able to verify, but I'll try. If this is one of like the hidden nooks, I probably won't go that deep in there. I do want to go to the next one though. I think that's still open.
Yeah, well, you can take the next one here. So I think you're up to out of here.
So located at the Boardwalk Inn, there is the Abracadabra.
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 Like abracadabra.
You magically teleport there. I tried, y'all, 3 times. But yeah, it's a lounge, which is a home to some of the world's most famous magicians and illusionists. Apparently, it all changed on Friday, the 13th September 1940, when every magician inside disappeared without a trace and have never been seen again. And yeah, there's a lot of props in here that are connected to the society, that, you know, indicating that some of the magicians were members. I'm a huge fan of places like, you know, at least I was a huge fan of places like the Magic Castle. And to see something themed similarly would be awesome, and go to Disney. I've never been to like that side of like the Disney resort. So I've never been to like the Boardwalk Inn and stuff. I'm going to be staying at the Grand Casino Tower, so I don't know how far I would have to travel to try to get there, but I did want to check that bar out, if it's not too challenging.
Honestly, if you are you going to Epcot at all?
Yes.
Leave in the back by France, walk on over there. You can actually walk. It's on the boardwalk, so you.
Oh, cool.
There's a back entrance to Epcot. You exit like by the France country. You walk. It's going to take you 10 minutes to walk over there, maybe 15, depending as to what your gate is. And then you can go there for a nice afternoon drink, and then walk back into Epcot.
Thank you for the tip. Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, I want to mention Abracadabra is definitely one of my favorite places.
I do think it's down though.
It is down?
I believe so.
Am I frozen?
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Is my video frozen?
Hey, your video seems frozen on my end.
Very, like, you seem like a sculpture. That would be a great sculpture pose.
All right. I don't know what's going on in my video, but I was going to say I love Abracadabra. It's you know, it's definitely, that's the best thing to do. It's pop in there for a little bit. It's very small. Not a lot of people can fit in there. But the drinks there are awesome. They have cool magic tricks that go along with the drinks. The times I've popped in there have been pretty brief, and actually, I don't think it's even open very much. I don't think it's. You would think it'd be open late after the parks, but it's definitely not. So it's just I think it's just something kind of just for boardwalk guests to enjoy. I think that's what it's intended for, not as a destination, but for those that like magic and creepy fun stuff, it's definitely worth going to. And there's a little sea connection there.
Hey, it is back open. And Abracadabra is open from 4 to 10.
Ooh.
I don't think it opened up, though, when the rest of the parks opened up. I think it actually reopened relatively recently.
Yeah, I know a lot of this opened up recently.
Small space right there, so they probably didn't want too many people over in there.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's going to say that definitely seemed like you can't really social distance in there. It's super tiny. It doesn't even have its own bathroom. They don't serve food, so it's a small little spot. But
it's like Trader Sam's. You can't really like Trader Sam's is so close because you can't
socially distance in there. No.
It's way smaller than Trader Sam's. It's super tiny. Really cool. But one place that's not tiny, that's a fun place to visit, is is Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar.
Yes.
All right. Who's up to bat? I lost track.
I can do this. I'd actually like to talk about this one.
I don't know. Please do.
Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar is an Indiana Jones themed restaurant at Disney Springs at Walt Disney World. It is based around Indiana Jones's pilot Jock Lindsay, a minor character from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and serves as a pilot bar run by him. When he and Dr. Jones were searching for the fabled Fountain of Youth in Central Florida in 1938, he found Disney Springs. He was attracted by the nature of the springs and town. He decided to settle down and bought some water property. Jock eventually built an airplane hangar and invited his friends in Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Today, that hangar becomes a popular restaurant called Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar. So, I've eaten here a few times, gone here for several drinks, and in fact, had Christmas dinner 2019 on Christmas Day at Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar.
That's
And
amazing.
They do really fun things with the deviled eggs where, like, during Christmas, they'll dye the deviled eggs red and green. And they play, when they first opened, they played, like, a bunch of that old 1930s, like, jazz standards. And now it's just playing whatever top 20 hits are now, which kind of stinks.
That sucks.
It
Really?
Yeah, it kind of ruins the illusion, yeah.
But you also, if you sit outside, you get some great waterfront views of, like, the amphibicars going by, and you can see the balloon raising into the sky depending as to how you're situated. But yeah, they have a really cool ice machine that makes giant ice cubes that, like, we've been sat next to and watched how it works. It's super cool, super fun to walk around. Very the food is really good. The drinks are great as well, depending if, you know, libations are your thing. It is a great spot to take a break. And I don't even need to, like, mean that you need to necessarily eat there. It's just a good spot to say, you know what, I'm going to pop in here, have a drink, maybe a snack for a half an hour, see what it's about, and then move on to your next destination.
Yeah, I like the appetizers there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like full meal, but it's definitely it's a cool place to hang out.
And when I'm there, it's always a snack.
Brother.
No, I love Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar has become, like, my standard go-to to, like, meet up with loved ones that I have in Florida, and, like, you know, just you know, I can't wait. You know, and also they have drinks that are, you know, usually themed. Like, you mentioned that you went for, like, the holidays in 2019. I went as well, but, like, before Christmas. So I had some other holiday drinks that were fantastic. But yeah, sometimes, like, even, like, the drinks, very much like Trader Sam's, will be named after or be related to things mentioned in s.e.a. or, like, places or whatever that people have gone to and stuff. So I think that's really cool. And I think, like Trader Sam's, Jock Lindsay also has a lot of artifacts, like, hanging around that could be connected to some of the members.
And if you get the right couple of drinks, you can get a collectible cup souvenir, of course, at a higher price. You're going to be paying like $50 for your drink.
Wait, but which one is this? I've never heard about this one.
I can show them on the screen if you don't mind me being gone for 20 seconds.
Go for it.
I'll be right back.
Why does James look like our tech guy?
I don't know what's going on here. I'm having some technical difficulties. Am I bad?
You got possessed for a second. Possession.
This is the technical difficulties on my side are going pretty rapid right now for this episode. So I appreciate you guys carrying the show visually.
Johnny possessed you.
All right, here we go. I was able to find one of them.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have that one.
And it does say Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar.
Okay.
Right underneath it. There's one other one, and I'm not sure which glass it is out of all. We collect all the tiki mugs. So, but I know for sure that one's one of them.
Do we know if any of the tiki mugs are related to s.e.a.? Because I have some of the Haunted Mansion ones. I have that Monkey Brain drink one. And I have just the Trader Sam's Pearl but I didn't get the Black Pearl, which makes me sad because I was not a fan of this drink, and I was like, I don't know if I would try or continue to try for the Black Pearl.
The pearl drink is the most vile drink on property.
Yeah.
And you get a 1 in 100 odds. But I've heard about, and I've tried going, but if you go on a Friday the 13th, she sometimes shoots out only black pearls. But last Friday the 13th, that they were open when it was considered safe to go, I tried going and they didn't have it going. And they said, oh, Shelly's broken today and isn't shooting out black pearls.
No!
All right.
But that'd be a fun thing to connect to S.e.a, I think. Like if they had, like if they were correspondent to like some of the members and stuff. I want to say them maybe like
Albert's monkey brain drink.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Albert's monkey brain. That's like Indiana Jones.
It's Albert the monkey.
All right. Well, I think we're going to leave Walt Disney World there. And we're heading home with so many S.e.a locations. But we're going to finally go to Disneyland. Not too much S.e.a activity happening at Disneyland. There is a tie-in to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Now, I could not find a picture of this either, but apparently a portrait of Barnabas B. Bullion can be seen through the windows of the Panhandle Hotel in the town of Rainbow Ridge.
Huh.
Who could possibly see inside of any of these places when you ride by it real fast on Big Thunder
Mountain? Gotta get some binoculars and just
you need
do this. I can see it. I don't know.
You need to be evacuated off the ride. That's the goal, is to ride it and be evacuated at that specific part so you walk right by it.
Yeah, I mean, even before knowing this, I always wanted that's so much going on in Rainbow Ridge. I wanted to explore it and just take a look and see all the detail that's there. But we just go by it so fast that it's just like it's all lost. And if there's a reference to Barnabas B. Bullion, it's lost on me. I guess on top of the fact that I got to take my glasses off when I go on rides like that, so that's that should be even worse.
So close and yet so far, James.
I know. But one day. I think we'll probably see more S.e.a stuff come to Disneyland, but a major S.e.a expansion came in 2018, the Tropical Hideaway. And Sabina, I'll let you take that one out.
Yes, the delicious Tropical Hideaway that opened in 2018. You see the lovely paddles there. It's right beside the Enchanted Tiki Room, and it displays those petals. And then it has like a good mention of Camellia Falco ahead of her appearance in Tokyo Disney Sea's Soarin' Fantastic Flight. Oh yes, I love poking around these areas. I believe that is near like the checkout. But yeah, like they have delicious Dole Whips. I love the orange Dole Whip. I'm gonna pretend like Camelia's favorite is the orange one. But yeah, no, I love that they're starting to roll out more artifacts that have this mythology to them. It makes areas like that way more fun and fantastical.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you ever like stop by any of the paddles and like kind of wonder, what are those names?
I did, and it's funny enough, I didn't even know the S.e.a connection the last time that I even looked at them. And now it's so obvious, going through the research for the show. I was like, oh, that's all that. But you could tell that it was referencing something. It wasn't just like random information. Did you know it was S.e.a connection when you were looking at the paddles?
No.
How about you, Sabina? Did you know?
I did not, and I feel lame because I think I was aware of S.e.a by then and did not put two and two together. I probably even absentmindedly took pictures of the paddle, so I feel like if I like search through like all of my Disney parks downloads, I could go and be like, oh yes, I see,
Yes, but great addition to Disneyland. Some delicious treats. They're an awesome place to hang out, right near the unload of Jungle Cruise. Definitely a better use of the space than whatever was going on there before. What was that, like a meet and greet for Aladdin or something?
Yeah.
That was never open? I don't know. I never saw it.
You mean you never met Aladdin? He'll never have a friend like you.
No, you never will. All right. Yeah, the last Disneyland thing we got here is Bengal Barbecue. And the Bengal Barbecue has appeared to be used as an outpost for S.e.a. with the 1899 club portrait hanging on the wall. Also displayed as a photograph of Professor R. Wallerheimel in the cockpit of the biplane, accompanied by postcards of persons known as Elizabeth Dewar and Bessie Steele. Most interestingly, there hangs a photograph of Charlie Allnut and Rose Sayre aboard the Jungle Cruise vessel, the Zambezi Miss. On board with them is Albert the Monkey, the faithful companion of Lord Henry Mystic, and a photograph of S.e.a. member and proprietor of the Jungle Navigation Company, Dr. Albert Falls. I literally had no idea all this stuff was inside the Bengal Barbecue. I've never even looked. I've been in there once or twice, like maybe.
Yeah, I think like since it reopened with that area, I think I was only in there once as well.
There's all these Easter eggs waiting in there for you. Somebody tap dancing over there?
Yes, that would be my son, Gus Gus.
Oh, okay. It's a good tap dancing. So I guess next time we go to the Bengal Barbecue, look for all these little Easter eggs. So you might think to yourself, has to be the end of this list.
But you are mistaken, because it is not.
Well, I knew this was going to be a long one, but we are determined to go through all the locations, and we're going to the last park, resort, Disneyland Paris. So we have 2 S.e.a. locations here. All right. So, Grant, talk about the first one.
Okay. I didn't even know this. I didn't go here. Colonel Happy's Pizza Outpost. Because
you missed it? It's a premier restaurant.
When you go to Paris, you think, you know what, I'm gonna go get some pizza. Luggage near the entry signage for the former Explorers Club restaurant features a sea patch amongst the travel stickers stuck onto them. The Explorers Club acted much like the Adventurers Club of Florida, giving diners the opportunity to dine with famous explorers such as David Livingstone and Ernest Hemingway. Actually, Ernest Hemingway is more Florida-based, which is kind of crazy. Even though the Explorers Club has now closed, its logo can still be found within the current restaurant, as well as scattered throughout the queue of the nearby Indiana Jones et le Temple de Peril.
Well, if you're going to cross all the C check marks, you better hit up this place.
And eat some pizza.
Pizza.
I mean, if this is just right outside, you can just walk by it, right?
Yeah. I didn't even know that there was an Explorers Club there at one point.
Nor did I, but it makes sense. It's kind of open around the same time in Florida as Disneyland Paris came to be. Same time period. All right, let's go to our next one, Cafe Hyperion. And I'll do this one here. The Discoveryland restaurant takes the form of a large hangar in which S.e.a. member Captain Frio, I can never pronounce EUX, has docked his airship, the Hyperion. Guests are invited to dine beneath the famous airship, surrounded by displays showing the various locations to which the captain has traveled to. Though the character and film have been connected to S.e.a., the restaurant currently bears no direct references to the organization. Alrighty. So that's Discoveryland. That's their Tomorrowland, right?
Yeah, that's it's a Jules Verne style one, so that's why Space Mountain looks kind of like steampunky. They have a walkthrough version of what is it? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just like opening day Disneyland. Right. All right. And our last location.
Oh, are you so sure about that, James?
Am I sure? Well, you mentioned that you had privately mentioned in our private chat that there is something that we missed in Shanghai.
But we'll do this part first, and I want to talk about
Yeah, and
that.
then do Shanghai. Yeah.
Okay, because that didn't come up with my research at all. So that's a great info. All right. So in that case, Sabina, what you talk
The
about doing?
Oceaneer Lab aboard the Disney Magic and Disney Wonder has numerous portraits of Mary Oceaneer and her parrot, Salty. Ooh. So, yeah, these portraits apparently show Mary to be a treasure hunter and a diver with her diving suit on display in the Oceaneer Lab, as well as her treasure found on an expedition to Castaway Cay. We also got to go on cruises to like accomplish this quest of going to all the sea things. But yeah, the lab also features connections to other sea members, a portrait of Lord Henry Mystic, a newspaper detailing the disappearance of Harrison Hightower III, as well as a captain's hat said to be a gift from J.L. Baterista. Whoa.
What's that? So
Who
many
is
people.
that? So many members of this secret society of adventurers and explorers.
Yeah.
But
Brad,
apparently this is not all.
Did you experience the Oceaneers Lab on? I don't know. I can't remember all the cruises.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's part of the walkthrough.
Okay.
Yeah. So you walk through there, and that's where you can meet the giant squid, and all the things that you would associate with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's a walkthrough experience, so yeah, it makes sense that would be there.
Nice.
Sounds scary when you're in a ship.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that concludes all the locations of
But
sea.
does it?
Does it?
But does it?
I keep wanting to skip it. We don't have a photo image for this, but Grant has brought something to our attention. Go ahead, Grant.
He will reveal another tattoo.
No, I don't have this one yet. But I'm having to pull this up off of a wiki, unfortunately. But one of Shanghai Disneyland's areas is called Adventure Isle. And that is a whole land based on sea. The whole land is a sea.
Wow, I wonder why this didn't come up in my research. That's nuts.
Because it's newer. And the storyline.
Was this done in like to coincide with the pirates being
No.
redone? No.
Oh, this has nothing to do with pirates. This is the area where they have roaring rapids, and the idea of it is that so located among the Quilari River, Adventure Isle is home to a dense rainforest lying in the shadow of Apu-Taku, also known as the Roaring Mountain for its great waterfalls. In 1935, the League of Adventurers arrived on the island after their airship New Horizons was blown off course. They established a peaceful relationship with the native Arbori tribe and have been studying their culture and natural wonders ever since. So there are ties to it because when you go on the rapid ride, you're on an expedition for the treasures that they have. And then the League of Adventurers is related to the Adventurers Club. I think it's just a secondary group of it from what I'm seeing. There's a creature in the Roaring Rapids. I'm trying to think of the name of the thing. It starts with a Q. It's something basically Quarak, who snaps. He's basically like a snapping gator god. And then there's a cliff ropes course where you can walk around the waterfalls. But throughout it, you see like things that are artifacts being shipped to other areas. And some boxes say being shipped to Tokyo, being shipped to Hong Kong, care of Lord Henry Mystic. And then and then some of the paintings, I want to say, in the rides ever since Shanghai's opened have had like references to this came from Discovery Isle.
Oh.
So it's a newer thing now. It's a different group of people, but they're seen as a subsect of that.
Interesting.
So
wow.
So they are among all, basically every Disney park. They are part of it. It's just it feels almost like the rapid ride is more of a Henry Hightower type thing. You're going in and you're stealing. The goal is you're disturbing the god of the mountain. So obviously you're doing something very bad.
And there's what about the monsters that are in there?
That's
That type.
Q-a-rat. And it's a giant snapping gator creature. So, it kind of fits in with the mythology. I mean, it's more fantastical than a lot of the other stuff that's going on, although Mystic Manor is pretty fantastical. Most of the of S.e.a. seems to be more based in a version of reality and not necessarily like monsters and creatures, although, there are ghosts and spirits involved. So there you go. I wish I had more about that, but I just know that it was connected.
I'm gonna switch cameras here.
I wonder if any vloggers have like done any dives into like those sort of areas specifically to kind of chronicle the sea stuff. Because I want to look at it. I'm gonna like try to Google like see if anyone's walked by it or through it and figured it out as they were exploring the areas.
I'm pretty sure somebody has done that by this point. You're not going to see very many live streams from China of people doing it. So you're going to see more like edited videos later because they don't allow Google or Facebook over there. So I'm not, that's where. So we learned the hard way that, you can't Google your way through China. You have to use Bing, which, by the way, Bing is very rough to use. Unless Bing becomes a sponsor of Creepy Kingdom, then, hey, Bing, we love you. And
Yeah.
we love you. And Google. But, yeah, it is all there for you to see. Yeah.
Right on. Okay. Well, that's all the locations, right? We didn't miss anything, did we? Nope, we're good. We got them all. Well, we can't end this mega long episode without talking about the Disney Plus series. Sabina wrote an article for us a few weeks ago. So, Sabina, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we know about the show and what you want to see from it?
See.
Okay, so,
See, get it?
Yes, see. Awesome. Yes, so the show, I thought it was a really surprising announcement, to be honest, for this to be something that they're going to dig into for Disney Plus. I've always been a proponent of Haunted Mansion should be an anthology miniseries annually.
Plenty of material there.
Plenty of material there, just on its own. Although I feel like there's a way into that through this series as well. But yeah, no. So I was surprised at this announcement. Ron Moore, who was known for Battlestar Galactica or Galacta, I don't know. I didn't see it growing up. I know I have a hole in my sci-fi knowledge. Did not have cable growing up, so missed out on that one. But he is a beloved TV creator, showrunner, who most recently did a show for Apple TV. They're the Streamins, called the Streamins. They're all Plus TVs, Peacocks.
Right.
He recently did a show for Apple. Called For All Mankind, which reimagines the space race like in an alternate timeline sort of way, which is really unique, really progressive and interesting. So I didn't know much about him when I wrote the article. And I'm a movie person. Usually like my beat is film and theme parks. And so I dug in and, with the Streamins, I was able to look into his work, and For All Mankind is amazing. And any reservations that people have had, because James and I have talked about this often, where people have seen our article and been like, oh, a bunch of old white men again for like a Disney thing. I honestly don't think that's the direction they're going to go in. For the article, we talked about, it's an interesting mythology to pull from, which we just broke down for all of you, which it's everywhere. It ties into the ride IP. And it's honestly, Disney's attempt to, I would say, please theme park fans who might be concerned about Marvel and Star Wars IP taking over the parks, because it's now saying like, well, we're also making our original ride IP into a universe of its own. And, I think that would help people be more rest assured that beloved rides are not gonna be gone. They might evolve and change like the Jungle Cruise has. And I'm really excited for the Jungle Cruise to probably tie into S.e.a. a lot more when we go back, when the rides reopen. And it's,
we didn't even talk about that, because I think that, they had that the concept art of the monkeys taking over the ship. I think that somehow that ties in as well. It's a theory, at least. We don't really know what that means until it opens. Is that just in Disneyland, or is that Magic?
No, they're doing it here too.
Okay.
It's both coasts, from what I understand.
Yes.
But I don't think it's happening at the international ones.
So is Jungle Cruise down in Magic Kingdom right now?
No, it's open.
It's still open, I think.
Okay. So we don't know when we're going to see these updates.
No, they're probably. They've said it's going to be. I want to say that the goal is to have it ready by the 50th. So I think it's one of those things like they probably have the parts built, and it's just a matter of installing them.
Yeah. Because they're rolling all of that out in October, I believe.
Boy, a lot of stuff coming in October.
Although I wonder if ours will be done as soon as our park reopens. Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
No?
I don't even think that they've started work on the one in California yet. Knowing them, they're going to say, we're going to take this down in the middle of July and enjoy your last rides. They're going to have like merch of the original Jungle Cruise.
They've had great merch for the Jungle Cruise recently. I almost bought like a canvas bag, and it was like Jungle Cruise Skipper, and I was like, this is like cool and efficient. You can literally fold it up probably like for travel. But yeah, no, not to get too much into a detour here.
That's what we're all about here.
Yes, I love our spooky detours here. Yes, into it. But yeah, no, so you have all of these like places that can tie into all these different stories, all these characters. I honestly don't think they're all going to be old white men, especially having like seen like 4 episodes of For All Mankind. Like that turned that whole thing into something crazy, because we have the space race as we know it, and this is like in an alternate universe. Imagine if Russia had gone into the moon first, and the woman spoiler alert, and the person who the first person on the moon was a woman, and so America had to diversify their NASA team, and like they've brought in so many awesome characters and stuff. I'm usually not into like space movies like that. I love space movies. Just like the history stuff can get a little tedious, but this is really great and really engaging. And I think honestly, they're gonna explore this in a different way. When I wrote the article initially, I was talking about how Lovecraft Country definitely took mythology and a filmmaker's like stories. Sorry, not filmmakers. What's his name?
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft. I unfortunately I learned the stuff about him before I read him, so I've actually never read too much of his stuff because of that reason. But yeah, I really was. I loved the concept of taking the things that were problematic and reclaiming them in a new and interesting way to open up the narratives and include more perspectives and voices in sort of the adventures that happen in that series. Specifically, there's an episode that felt very Goonies and Indiana Jones like in the first part of the season, and my mind immediately jumped to that when the show was announced, because we do have a lot of rides that are rooted in colonialism and exploration that is very high key problematic, and for them to reimagine it in a way that kind of deals with accountability and respect to culture. And I think it's something that like we've known the Imagineers have been doing and being very dutiful of, as our different concepts of that have evolved.
Yeah.
So I do think that's something to like keep in mind and stuff. And like, I kept like replying to people who would us being like, oh, this is gonna be like just white dudes. I'm like, no, I think, you know, they're gonna find a way to have it be accessible to everybody and fun and adventurous. Adventure is in the title, y'all.
Oh,
You know. Yeah, so I'm excited for it, to be honest.
well, I think they may. The only ones that they really have to keep their race on would be Henry Hightower, but that's okay because if he's like the villain,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of have to kind of keep that, especially if they're based on that time. The other one is Lord Henry Mystic because he appears in the ride twice as an animatronic, so they're going to keep him that color, I'm sure. That being said, even if they decide to go with the route of the looking at, you know, the main people, the 5 old white men and 2 white women, they may have tertiary characters that we don't know that
Yes.
wind up becoming
Agree.
bigger parts, that are basically the ones that are helping these guys out. And I almost feel like Hightower is going to be portrayed as a villain, and that the people wherever he goes are going to be the heroes.
Yes, no, for sure. Yeah, I would love to see a whole episode on the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Because I think that ride deals specifically with that, you know, with like
Yes.
he was disrespectful, he, you know, didn't take seriously other people's cultures and he stole from it and he had consequences. So that would be cool to see.
I'm just really mad that they're doing this as a series because people are going to go, oh, you got a tattoo from that show. And it's like, no, dude, I got this before then.
Well, at least people will now know what
like,
your tattoo is. Because before
you're an OG Albert fan.
Yeah, I'm going to be like that person who's like, dude, I listened to Radiohead before anybody knew who they were.
And they're going to make Albert go from animated to CG, probably.
They should just do a live action monkey. Or put me in a monkey stop motion suit and I'll be him. I'll be Albert.
Wow. Well, on that note, if the show is in development, I mean, we hope that Disney didn't announce it themselves. This was put on for the Hollywood Reporter. So we hope that it continues to be and keeps moving forward and that we see it one day. But I don't even know when we'd even see it because even the shows they have announced for Disney Plus are just so far away. So many of them are so far away from coming out. Years. Some of the announcements they made this year, we're not going to see them materialize for a few years. So, you know, but we know it's coming.
Oh, and then at the very end of this, at the very end of the Adventurers Club season 1, we're going to get a post-credit scene featuring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury's great-grandfather, saying, okay, we're going to create this group, and they're going to be the original Avengers.
The S.E.A. initiative. Right?
Yes.
Can't be talking about the S.e.a. initiative. All right. Well, I think we could put a fork in this one. Coming in almost 2 hours, but we marathoned through. We gave you the abridged version of S.e.a.
That's abridged. No, honestly, it is. I've listened to like so many podcasts about S.e.a. and just in general, and everyone's like, "This is just a general overlook," and the podcast is like an hour and 45 minutes long.
I think that there could be just a whole podcast dedicated to S.e.a. because there's so much, like with multiple episodes. Not, you know, like
that
so
sounds like
content.
A fantastic idea, James. Yes.
And
I don't know if we're going to do it, but
quick addendum on something that you said, I realized after we talked about it, the diving suit that you're talking about that was on the Disney Cruise Line, that does not have the 20,000 Leagues. That's over in Paris. I was confusing all the underwater stuff that was on the boat with what the walk is.
Okay.
So that's why I was like trying to figure out what that was. So I could have seen the suit, and it was probably something that I just walked by. But anyway, yes. Yeah, that just shows you how much mythology there is. I can't remember all of it.
Well, I'm not sure when we're gonna revisit S.e.a. again, but we will because we have to dive into the characters and keep going down the S.e.a. rabbit hole. So
I will see you there.
We'll see you there. Probably won't be our next episode of Dark Deep Park Show. Should probably tackle another topic, but I'm excited. I learned so much doing research for this show and just talking about it with everyone, and I can't wait to dive deeper into the characters next time we revisit this.
All right. So before we get out of here, want to give a little preview of our upcoming live streams. Yay!
Yeah.
That's all right. So coming up this Sunday and every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Eastern, we have the Weekly Creepy, which is our live show and podcast where we recap all this. Nope, that's not it, John. But John
Johnny.
is a co-host on the Weekly Creepy, and he does have a pick of the week. But there's our graphic for the Weekly Creepy, so you can see Johnny in the flesh every week with the host of the show, Sarah, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And coming up on April 8th, the next live stream of our Creepy Book Club, where we discuss the book about the Odd Sisters. And as I allude every time I mention this, we're going to be cosplaying as the Odd Sisters. That's Tanisha and Gretchen on that show, and I'll be making an appearance cosplaying as the Odd Sisters as well.
Yes.
So get ready for that. If
More.
there's not a reason to tune in, there it is. And we're going to be doing that on April 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And James is going to look sexy.
He already does.
Even sexier as one of the Odd Sisters. All right. Well, thank you to everyone that tuned in live and hung out with us. Thank you to everyone listening. Thank you to my co-host here.
Yo.
Appreciate with chatting about this, but we're going to get out of here. So until next time, the gates are closed. Bye.
Bye.